Most people are usually scared to find a Spyder inside of their house, but you might be pleasantly surprised to find a Spyder like this, and that being not just any typical Spyder, but the Porsche 718 Spyder. And today, we're going to be taking an in-depth look, talking about all the special things about this car that make it unique and why it's so much different than just a regular Boxster or Cayman. My name is Trent, and you're watching God and X. So starting here in the front, you may notice that this car does look very similar to its younger siblings, that being the 718 Boxster and Cayman, but there are quite a few differences up here. Up here, you do have this slit right here for a little bit of air intake. It's very similar to what you'd see on the GT4, that being its closest relative in this family. But overall, the front of the car, it's got a little bit more aggressive. You got a bigger splitter right here. It even says Spyder on there, just to let you know, you're driving a Spyder. But this car has also been lowered by 1.2 inches. It's not anything crazy, and you're definitely not gonna be scraping anything, but it just gives it that more aggressive stance and look. Overall, it just looks great up here. And another thing, since this is a rear engine car, you do have your cargo space up here. Though this car is not really meant for storing, or I wouldn't even say for grocery hauling, because you only get a little over 4 cubic feet of storage, which is nothing, honestly. And you don't get anything in the back. It's just right here and then your passenger seat if you don't have anybody else in there. But overall, the front of this car has pretty much remained the same across all the 718 models with some slight upgrades. Here on the side of the car, you'll notice, again up front, the first half of this car looks pretty much the same to all the other 718 models. The biggest changes you'll notice are in the back, and that's because since this is a Spyder model, it does have that convertible top. Special thing about this car is it's actually a manual top. It's not automatic like the Boxster is, so you do have to get out of the car and put it down yourself. But that's just to say with weight reduction and all that good stuff to give you a little bit faster speeds and just an overall lighter car. But this car has been outfitted with these beautiful Spyder wheels. They match the exterior color really well. This exterior color is finished in GT silver metallic. The wheels aren't, but they're a really close match and it looks really good with it. Pretty much on the side, the rest of the side of the car down here, it looks pretty much the exact same. There's not much to talk about, not much to boast. Most of it is all in the back. So like I said, the top of this car is manual, so you will have to get out of the car and do it yourself. You can do it with one person, but it's a lot easier with two. So I'm gonna have Jason over here help me put it up. So first step is you gotta open up the trunk. You can either do that from inside the car or on the key. Just push this button. It'll open this up. You just gotta lift this up to get access to the top. Once this is fully up like that, you're gonna grab on each side and you kind of just gotta lift it up and pull it down all the way to the end. There's these little hidden buttons back here. They're a little hard to find at first. You just need to unlock those. But once you get those unlocked, you're gonna drop this down, push it back into place, and then with these last little flaps, there's little holes right here. You just need to get them into those. Once you get them in, you push them in. It's pretty much done at this point. The last step is once you have to get back inside the car, there's a little button and it will lock this part down into place and make it all tight and fit really well. But to be honest, if I'm driving this car, I'm driving with the top down. It just looks better with the top down. Top up looks a little weird, but I get it if you don't want to take it out in the rain. Here in the back of the car, although you can't see it, back here is what makes this car truly special. This car comes equipped with a 4-liter flat 6-cylinder engine, producing 414 horsepower. It's just a little bit more than the regular Boxster and Cayman GTS models, but it's definitely noticeable in that straight line speed. The back of this car just looks way more aggressive than any of the other 718 models, in my opinion. I do like that it doesn't have like the big spoiler that you see on the GT4. It's a little more sleek. No, it's definitely a sleeper build to me. You got a little bit bigger ducktail spoiler. You got the beautiful dual carbon fiber exit exhaust that honestly, they sound amazing for a car like this. You got that naturally aspirated scream that you'd want from a car like this. You don't get that turbocharged sound. You don't get that supercharged sound. It's just straight engine noises. And I love that about this car. It sounds great when you're in the high RPM range. It's just a true performance sports car. And that's honestly what you'd expect from a Porsche car like this. Overall, I think Porsche has done a great job with the overall look and design of the rear of this car and just the performance. Porsche does a great job with the overall exterior design of the car, but interiors where they're a little lackluster, seeing that there's a lot of issues inside this car that can be revamped if they were just to modernize this car a little bit more. And I'm just gonna start off with the infotainment system. It feels like it's from the early thousands. You got plenty of switches that are hidden just by the gear select right here. Like I can't see the climate control really at all. The infotainment system looks old and cheap. It's just black and orange. You can't really see much on it. The switches right here are a little outdated as well, but one of my biggest pet peeves about this car is $135,000 and it's used, but there's plenty of empty switches right here, which you could use for multiple other things. It's just something I don't want to see in a car like this. But some good things they do is that you can adjust, how loud your exhaust is. You can adjust the spoiler height and your PDK Sport transmission right here. And right here are the switches to lock in the convertible top once you actually do get it up. But other than that, this little section right here definitely needs a major update. But they do a lot of great things inside this car, seeing as that the steering wheel is, some of the great things they do inside this car is that they do a lot of suede inside this interior, which is great for those track days. That way when you're gripping the steering wheel, you don't have to worry about your hands sweating and sliding around when you're taking those tight, fast corners. The seats are also finished in part suede, part leather, which looks great. It's got that great accent with the red leather interior right here. Another thing I really like about this car is I do like this red leather wrapped all across the interior dash and on the door panels. It looks great. I love it for that sports car feel. It really makes me feel like I'm in a luxurious car, which I am. This is a Porsche, and I do expect something from a brand like that. But over here, I'm not sure if you can see this that well, but the gauge cluster does look great. It's part analog, part digital. The digital part is just giving you all the stuff you need to see, such as your tire pressure, oil pressure, obviously your gas levels and stuff like all that good stuff. But the gauge cluster does read up to 200. I don't think this car could personally reach that high. They usually show a little bit higher than it really does, but that's to be expected. The steering wheel's got plenty of stuff. You can adjust your volume right here. You switch between your digital gauge cluster. You're showing the different information. You can make calls and stuff. Simple, nothing crazy. Another cool feature about this car is right here, you do have the stopwatch, and that's because this car does come equipped with a sport chrono package, which is great for track days. It allows you to track your lap times, but if you're just doing regular driving on the road, it will tell you just the time of day and anything you need to know. Even though it does tell you the time of day, you also get that in the gauge cluster, so it's kind of irrelevant for that point. But I just think it's a cool feature. Something you don't see on regular cars. Another weird feature about this car that I've personally been told they don't like is these rope handles. They're a little bit weird, but I understand the point of them since they want to get rid of a lot of weight reduction and stuff like that. They swap out the regular door handles for ropes just because they're a lot lighter. They'll adjust the weight of the car just a tiny bit, give it small amounts of performance, but if you add up all the weight reduction that they've done to this car, it adds up to a lot. One last feature about this car, which I think it's weird, I think it's kind of dumb, is these cup holders. You have to push right here, and there's these little plastic trays they push out. They feel really cheap. They're just plastic. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't really trust the drink in there. I put cans in there, and most of the time they just tip out and spill all over the place. So this definitely isn't the car for if you're going through the drive-thru and you're picking up some drinks. Definitely would not trust those cup holders. Overall, the interior definitely has quite a few problems, but it's still a performance luxury car. You're not going to be getting all the features that you would with, like, say, a Bentley or a Rolls-Royce. You're definitely in a track-focused car. So I'll forgive them for all the, defects right here. Other than that, though, it's a great feeling interior. Actually, driving this car is probably the most enjoyable experience about this car, given its looks and everything. But it's so fun. It's very raw. You step on the gas, you hear it. It's loud in here. And it's a convertible, so I'm not surprised by that. But you step on the gas, it picks up pretty quickly. And then the brakes, honestly, the brakes are super good. This thing does share the same brakes as the 911 GT3, so I expect it to actually have some great stopping power. But handling, it's super responsive. As soon as I turn, you move pretty quickly. These seats really grab you when you're driving too. Like, you don't have to worry about sliding around a lot. Overall, it's just a great feel. I love the suede steering wheel. It just feels great in my hand. It's super easy to grab. I don't have to worry about my hands slipping at all. Just overall, probably the best driving experience I've had in a long time. And that's really saying something because we've driven plenty of cars here on this channel. So there you guys have it. This is the 2021 718 Porsche Spyder. And to be honest, it's one of my favorite cars that Porsche builds. It's just a very unique car. You got the convertible top, something you don't usually see on performance cars like this, but you also have the capability to take this to the track and beat plenty of other cars around in lap speed and stuff like that. It's got similar performance to the GT4, and it's not as good as the GT4 RS, but it's still way up there. Overall, I think this is a great looking car. It's great for those people who want something for the weekend. Definitely not a daily driver, but it's definitely a dream car. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys' personal opinions are about this car. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.